Hello.
Hey, how you guys doing?
How you guys doing?
Oh, we got a great one today.
Yeah, we've got a really good one going on today. Let's see what we've got. I know we're coming on at a different time,
That's
so
right.
it's kind of, and Lecrae is there.
Yes.
Okay, on time too.
Let's see if I can say right.
Hey, Lecrae, are you there? Are you there?
Yes.
Okay, we're getting there. Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be a big one.
I said accept.
Yep.
Did the accept go?
We've accepted. Let's see, we'll try it again. Are you pressing right on the blue?
Well, you can see what's going on. So but yeah, so here we go. One more time.
Yeah, that should have done it. Did that do it?
Did the invite. Did the invite. I'm accepting it. We're accepting it. So he's coming on. Got to be coming on soon. How you guys ever doing?
Hi, Snoopy. Hi, Sean. Hi, Jay Black
is on. Okay. Keep accepting Lecrae there, but he hasn't joined us yet. But here you are.
I was getting ready to go into big old panic.
I said they blocking you at all those.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! I was starting to go into a Vicki cuckoo la la land.
You all right?
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How y'all doing?
I'm doing good. We're doing good. We're so happy you joined us. I wrote something about you, so I'm gonna just go right into that, okay?
All right, what you write?
Yeah, you looks like you've been asleep.
Nah, I'm just relaxing. I got me a little cup of tea.
Okay.
Just relax.
Okay. When I first went to Central South, I was given a list of artists to work with, and by that, their sales numbers were there. And they kept passing this person. I didn't know if it was male or female. All I saw was this name, Lecrae, and all these big numbers. And I'm like, I want to work with that person. And I said, who is this? This is who I need to be working with. And I'm so glad I said that because it turned out that I ended up working with one of the most incredible artists I feel that I've ever worked with. And I've worked with a lot.
Wow.
I really feel that. And you as a Grammy Dove Award winning Lecrae is for me one of the most phenomenal, brilliant, sincere, groundbreaking artists I've ever worked with. I've never told you this before, but this is the way I feel about you. And one of the few artists, especially a young artist, who has taught me just in observing things about the business and how to be in your personal life, just watching you guys. I've never had a chance to tell you that, but that's how I feel. I look up to you, Lecrae. I really do. Because I like the way you guys do business. And I still have a lot to learn from you, I feel. And I mean, there's so many accolades. We're not going to go through all of that today because I want to get them to know you more like I know you. But I mean, you've worked with everybody from Kendrick Lamar to Kirk Franklin and everybody in between. Mm-hmm. You've broken barriers and you've done so many firsts. They can't all be mentioned here. You guys will have to look it up another time. But I want you to get to know him better. Everybody, I call Lecrae the groundbreaker. Everyone, welcome to our conversations with Lecrae. Woo! How are you doing? Let's play a little bit of this song. I'm going to play a little bit of this song called Move. And so we're going to do that for a minute, and then I want to talk to you about it.
I like to move it. Just off the porch now, I'm just cozy. I had to change my mood in life. When I woke up, I like to move it. So please get out of the way. I like to move it. Just off the porch now, I'm just coming in. Hammer time number 2. What you gonna do when the time away? Put it with a taco. I said prayer on the floor like it's war room. I was in the courtroom. You was in your room. The police came to my door. I just shook my head. No one way better watch the car hit. It's a whole lot. Yo, walk around. crazy, I ain't even gonna laugh. I'm a talk phone. You gonna change your life, yo, man. You better finna kiss with the past. You never did dirty, had to wash your hands. Been so hot, if you really stay. Boy, you better not close. If it's gonna go up tonight, don't shoot it. I got the light on me, can't lose it. Why would you lose your life? That's foolish. I like to move it.
Hey, okay, now we ready. Let's go. Let's talk about it. So first of all, before I do that, how are the kids and how's your wife?
Everybody.
Everybody's lovely. We just been chilling. It's been a chill time. I was supposed to be out of the country right now, but the trip got canceled, so that just gave us some more time to hang out. So we've been hanging, man.
Okay,
Yeah.
well that's cool. I mean that's cool. Now how old are they? When I saw them, they were all babies.
Teeny tinies. Yeah, no, now I got two teenagers, 14, 13, and then 10-year-old. So
So you're in the thick of it. You are
man,
in the
It's happening right now.
Well, I saw this new thing you got coming, project you got coming with 1K Few, who I met through you, and I adore him. And hopefully we can do a few things together, but I really, really like him and hope the best for him. You are putting so much into him. I mean, I can see the effort. And what's the name of the new project?
No Church in a While.
Okay, you got to tell me what that means, and you got to tell me why you got that Prison Pink album cover.
Oh man,
that's when they put you on hold, brother.
I told Vicki, listen, they ain't been in church in a while, so it's getting crazy.
So now they in Prison Pink.
oh man. No Church in a While. No Church in a While is because people haven't been in church in a while for a lot of different reasons. Some is because of the pandemic and COVID. Other people are disenchanted and they're just going through different phases. I think people are kind of in a weird place right now and just trying to figure out, but nobody's talking about it. So, for me, I'm always want to just let's talk about it in the music and let's just be honest. And and so that's really what it is us just talking through a lot of those things. And since then, some of us have transitioned to different churches or just didn't want to go and now are into it now, or just house churches, different things. So just talking about it, being honest about it.
Right.
And then,
then
as far as the colors are concerned, I just, listen,
it is what it is.
Yeah, that's what we went. We just,
in that pink hole in prison, you gonna be a mess with that, okay? So
I don't want no smoke. I don't want no problem.
Okay, you see what I'm saying? But do you think now young people are going to church less? Do you think it's gonna ever be the same, or is it gonna be more virtual now? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, so that's really how the project came about. I was just like surveying a lot of folks and just talking to them, especially people like in their 20s, and early 30s, and a lot of them were like, "Man, I'm done with church." And I was like, "What do you mean when you say that?" Just trying to get their perspective on what they mean. And a lot of them, what they're trying to communicate is they're done with the way things have been. They need something. They need a new person. They don't need to feel manipulated or feel like they're forced to go to a building. They want to be a part of a group of people that are really impacting the world and society. We've seen all these protests. We've seen, the political stuff, and people are wanting to be a part of something that's not politicized or commercial, but that's authentic and real. And I think that's the community that they're searching for. So hopefully they find that. It doesn't have to be in a traditional mega church building. It could be in a house church. It could be in a neighborhood or something. But as long as you find that group of people, that's my prayer for a lot of them.
Yeah. It's been. I even see church differently since the pandemic. And with I always say with Omarion and Rona going Omarion and Rona, they just go everywhere. And I said she's such a loose person. They'll come with one person and leave with somebody else.
Yeah.
It's just been so crazy, and it's really even hit our family pretty hard this week. So.
Right. But in terms of how do you church in this evolving, changing times, and so that's things that we struggle, even our church is struggling with. Of course, we're doing the digital and going streaming and that stuff, but you got to be able to church in that way, and churching is really person to person, and you got to get there some kind of way, because it's touching people.
We got to be each other. We got to be.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with this Unashamed tour, is that the one that just got canceled?
It not the whole tour, but one date. One date.
Well, why that one date canceled?
They canceled the date over a tweet I tweeted.
Okay, we saw it.
What do you tweet?
Always causing problems, man. I'm always causing trouble.
You gotta be out there. You telling the truth.
Let me tell you something
telling the truth
about yours. I went on there one day to say something, and about 100 people beat up on me. I said, "Ooh, you got to be ready to go on Lecrae, because these people are serious." I'm not mad, but I was like, "Whoa!" Somebody said they would never talk to me again, and never. I mean, strong opinions of how, brother, are you dealing with all of this? This stuff can be very stressful. I mean, you're a business owner. You're a record, you have a label. You're an entrepreneur. You're dealing with all these people. I've been there to some degree, but you're getting it full on. Are you okay? I mean, how are you dealing with it?
He's stepping out in the media. So he's stepping out and taking his position publicly, and consequently, people are coming against him sometimes.
Yeah, somebody told me a long time ago, like, if you gonna call shots, you're gonna have to take shots. And so I realized that part of it comes with the job. And then the other thing about it is like, I'm following in the footsteps of Jesus. You know what I mean? They didn't like him either. They talked crazy about him, and he had to just keep pushing and love them where they at and keep it moving. And so that's really I don't really let that stuff get under my skin. Now, once upon a time, I was a lot more thin-skinned, and it would bother me more. Now, I just seen the results, and I seen the life change. I seen the fruit. A lot of people are talking, but they just talking online. When I log off, I'm going to live real life and do real things. And those words that they're saying don't affect the bottom line, and the bottom line is impacting people's lives. And so, I just keep it moving.
Sometimes for you, because I feel you so in my heart, really, because I watched you grow since the first records, and we'll talk a little bit more about the song I call Uncle Ricky's song, the testimonial song. Do you remember that, where you were talking about your uncles being in prison? And
just like you.
Just like you.
Yes.
I'm sorry. You guys go back and hear that song. For those of you that think you don't understand what's going on, or you want to really I don't know what that is.
That was me.
But that's Claude. But my heart, so a lot of things with you, like I said, even though I really never told you I thought about it, I take it personally. I don't, because you're our future, the kind of things Claude and I started. I see you working on it, and I get really upset. How do you, I mean, there was a guy that was going around to churches talking about to stop booking you because you were,
that's right.
You were just helping out Warnock in his campaign. I wanted to fight. No, I was ready to fight. And I called up some pastors in Atlanta. I called Jamal Bryant. I called Bishop Moore. I called them to tell them what that man was doing to you. So I mean,
she was rallying the troops.
I appreciate you. It's like having an industry mom. You know what I mean? That's what it feels like.
But it speaks to kind of like what's going on right now. People are politicizing a lot of things, and I don't, unless I can see somebody saying don't do this because you're not teaching the scripture, you're not doing the Bible, but because you have a different political perspective, that's no reason to tell somebody they can't come to your church. I don't get that.
Yeah, you know, people, to me, I feel like, you know, especially in America, a lot of people, like, the faith is synonymous with politics in a lot of ways. And I think that's part of the problem, is it's married to all this stuff that's not really in the Bible. And so we get so wrapped up in the politics and the money and the empires. And that's what I always say is, what are you building? Are you building an empire? Or are you building a kingdom? You know, 'cause a lot of people are trying to build their empires, their political empires, their financial empires.
I don't know why we keep.
No, I disconnected my phone.
I'm not against people making money. You know, if you want to start a business, start a business. But it's when you start making the faith a business, well, I'm gonna struggle with it. You know what I mean? Like, the faith is the faith, business is business. So, you know, that's my thing. Go get your money, go get your coins, go vote how you vote, go do all those things, but don't make that the same as being a follower of Jesus, because now we got a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Amen.
And that's where we are. We now have a problem.
You've conflated that completely.
Yeah, but I think also, in your case, at least I want to think, with you being the president with Reach, and how's Ben doing?
He's doing good. He's doing good. Yeah. Well,
Tell my side. I'm wondering, you're building disciples too, in a way I see, with 1K Few and some of your other artists. Tell us about them and, you know, what you're doing with building.
It's like a mentoring.
You're mentoring almost and grooming.
Preparing.
you know, I mean, I'm following in the footsteps. You know, Claude, you know what you did with Gospel Gangsters. You know, you took them from, from gangsters to gospel. You know, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know how you, in prisons like that. So, you know, it's the same thing. I do a lot of stuff behind the scenes to just teach my artists and invest in them. You know, and I don't do it so the public can know about it. I do it so that these artists can grow and become leaders, and so they don't get torn down and disrespected in a way that's unnecessary. So it's just kind of like, you know, shoot, today I'm meeting up with some of them, and we just going, it's life lessons. You know, it's not about sitting down. We learn as we go. You know, we learn on the go. So that's the thing with a lot of them is I do life with them. So we learn on the fly. We take trips. You know, we'll go to Israel. We'll go to Diddy's house, and there's a lesson in both of those places.
That's
you know,
right.
And
how does all that feel, being around so many stars? I remember one time we went in New York to one of your concerts, and I was standing next to Jay-Z. That was the most bizarre thing. And there were just these different people, big old celebrities. I mean, at that time, I think it was just starting so heavy like that. Now it's commonplace for you. But how do you deal with that? And
yeah, it was weird at first because I didn't know where I fit in. You know, it was really strange. What I learned too is everybody's your friend when you on top. Boy, everybody loves you when you on top.
Tell it.
Oh gosh, it was like my phone wouldn't stop. #1 album, phone ain't stop ringing. You know, Grammy Award, phone ain't stop ringing. And then, you know, you're thinking that these people are really like, I mean, I guess when the dust settles, you learn who's really there for you and who's really there for fame and acclaim.
That's right.
And I think it was weird at first for me because I was like, yo, why does everybody want to be my friend all of a sudden? I've been here for a minute. Like, why is everybody trying to be my best friend?
Right. And I think for me, like when I was at Interscope, somehow in my mind, I thought I was always going to be there. I didn't see myself leaving. Actually, we got pushed out, but and just that whole secular world and Christians and how they're so enamored with it, you know, and how people really lose their minds and just wanna. It's like a drug to me. But now I feel like I'm seeing a lot of Christians who do hip hop. And I'm seeing a lot of secular people doing the church choir music.
Yeah.
The big church choir is Kanye.
Yep.
The traditional that's hitting the most is Snoop.
Oh yeah.
You guys are doing hip hop. You've got Maverick City and Seasons doing praise and worship. What's going on?
I think it's like, you know, we're all in the same. It's like we all live in the same house. Gospel, R&B, hip hop. We all live in the same house. It's just people are in different rooms. And I think people were afraid to like eat dinner together at the kitchen table. You know what I mean? So it was like everyone was afraid. You know, behind closed doors, I think there was a little bit of conversation, but people were afraid to eat dinner publicly out in the kitchen together. So behind the scenes, of course, Snoop is listening to gospel. And of course, you know, the gospel artists are listening to hip hop. I remember, you know, reading articles about, you know, gospel artists and, you know, their musical inspirations. It's just that, well, I think we don't realize we're all human beings. And like, and we're all on this human journey. Some of us are trusting God in the journey, and some of us are not. Some of us are trying to figure out who to trust. But if we don't come together and sit and eat, you know, Jesus ate with the sinners. If we don't sit and eat together, we don't learn from one another, and we're not gonna. I learn a lot from eating with people and hanging out with people who do not follow the Lord, because I'm learning what their objections are and what their struggles are, and then they me, because they're like, wait, I thought you was gonna be more judgmental, and they're like, wait, you're not as judgmental as I thought you was gonna be. And so musically, I think there's more people are getting more comfortable sitting at the table together. And so hopefully you see more things happen. I know a lot of us walked through those doors so other people could. Like, I caught a lot of flack working with mainstream artists, but then, you know, as time progressed, you see that happen more and more and more and more. And so hopefully there'll be more conversations and more impact for the kingdom.
But do you think if you're singing or rapping or whatever about the Lord, do you think the lifestyle should match, or, you know?
Well, that's the tough part, right? Because, you know, when David was writing his psalm, you know, crying out to God after he had just finished killing Bathsheba's husband and sleeping with Bathsheba,
yeah,
did his words still matter? You know, were those words still meaningful? I think they were. I think it's about the heart, you know, and it's a heart issue, and you know, man knows the outward, God knows the inward. So I do think there's situations where you have broken people who are crying out to God and trying to be honest with God. But the problem is when you have people who don't admit they're broken, right? And they're writing these songs like everything is great and me and God valley and smelling lilies. But the truth is you're broken inside, and you haven't addressed that, and you haven't acknowledged that. So you're really doing a disservice to yourself, because you out here singing as if everything is good and God, I give you the glory. But truthfully, you are broken. You're not connected to God. And so you're more of a disservice to yourself, because the people listening, they don't know the difference. They don't know. They just enjoy it, you know.
I mean, but people are starting to know more now because of social media and all of that. And so, I mean, like, you've got this mantle. Like I said, I'm over here doing my thing, being Mama Vicki, I guess. But, you know, I do get concerned sometimes for you. I do. And, I mean, we look at people right now. When I was at Interscope, I worked with Ian Sr., whose son just died, Regina King and Ian's son. Ian I saw Ian Jr. as a little boy, and he's gone now, you know. And I heard someone else, 26, suicide. You know, people killing themselves. It is so heartbreaking. And it's like, how do we really reach the people and give them hope so that they don't do that? Like, so I am still reeling, because I remember Ian when he was a little boy with his dad on his motorcycle and stuff like that. And I just can't. I'm heartbroken.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there's what. So I guess the question I'm asking is, are we really reaching people? Number one, and there are just so many in despair. You know.
I agree. I mean, there's somebody for everybody. You know, to me, music is. I think sometimes we mistake musicians for offices in the church. You know, musicians are pastors. They're musicians. You know, they're reflecting on things that are happening, and so I think because of that, so I tell you like this: when you look in the scriptures, there's a rule for how a priest should live, what they should wear when they go into the temple, all these particular things. They got to follow those rules here. When they get in that temple, they'll be struck and dead. But there's no rule book for how a king should live, right? It's like, hey, follow God, but you're going to have to figure this out as you follow the Lord. And I think many of us are functioning not as priests or pastors, but it's like King David. And it's like, you need to follow God, and it's going to be a little more, you're not going to get the every little thing. And so we're freer to be honest and to be transparent, because we're not necessarily shepherding people on a regular basis like a pastor does. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to walk with all of my fans one-on-one. So I get a freedom to just be real and just reach them where they are and to be honest. And look, I am struggling. I am broken. I messed up. I have dropped the ball. And people can relate to that way more than they can relate to somebody who's saying, man, I got it all together. I'm the Lord and everything. And so I want the Regina Kings and and like her son to hear songs of people that are struggling but are still holding on, so that they have hope in the midst of it all.
Yeah, I mean, who do you go to? Do you have friends or people that when you're in that place? Because I feel like you're at such a mantle, and the higher up you go with that mantle, the less people you can go to. I know with my company and stuff, sometimes I would struggle. I would have mental health issues even sometimes, and I felt like there weren't enough people to understand what I was going through. You know, you trying to talk about $1 million problems, more money, more problems, and things like that. But people are looking at you like, girl, are you crazy? You know, because it's a conversation that's on a different level. So who do you go to?
Yeah, I do. I got a good group of friends that I really trust and you walk with, and we're integrated. They know everything. I mean, they know everything. So that's how close we are. Is that they know how much money I got in the bank. They know everything, because if we don't know everything about each other, then we can't really walk with each other through the hardships and the problems. And like you said, there's not a lot of sympathy for people who are winning, right? When you winning, people don't have any sympathy for you. It's like, what you talking about?
I'm the one to bring you down.
Yeah, you winning. You got gold and platinum records. What you complaining about? You know what I mean?
Right. Man, I got 4 million. I gotta pay in taxes. You know, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" You know. Exactly. I don't know. It's crazy, but I'm gonna change the mood for a minute. Baby, it's time to get messy.
Okay.
I'm gonna get messy for a minute.
All right.
And this is the section, Vicki getting messy. Lecrae, what do you think about Mike Todd and the spitting on people's eyes?
I mean, it ain't.
And I like Mike Todd, so
it ain't gross. I mean, it couldn't have been me. It wouldn't have been me. It couldn't have been me.
You wouldn't have submitted yourself to that.
Nah, I wouldn't. It couldn't have been me getting spit on. But like I said, my thing about it is this: if you can own it, admit it, you went too far, then you can grow from it. And that's what he did. He said, "Oh, cross the line." Everybody crosses the line. All of us done. But you know, you screamed on somebody like you shouldn't have screamed on them. You done thought something was okay, it wasn't okay.
Yeah.
All of us had those moments, but can we own them? That's where
Right.
you grow.
Right.
That's the key. That's when you go. Right. I agree.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
I did that.
And own it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's. I remember one time at Central South, something happened, and somebody got up in my face with their finger. Lecrae. I said every foul word that obviously the devil gave me came out of my mouth on that person. And you know, I told my husband, and my husband says, now go back and ask for forgiveness. Because you should have MF'd and all those other things you did like that, Vicki. It's a bad witness. And I was like, do I have to really do that? And he's like, yeah, you really have to do that. And so I did. And I started crying because I was mad, but I knew, because I was so ugly. You know, I was so ugly and I had to deal with it. But speaking of ugly things, let's be a little clear. Child, do you know, let's talk about church clothes. I never told you, when you first started with that project, pastors and stuff called me.
Oh, man.
Did you know that?
I know I've been causing trouble for a long time. I didn't know. This was before social media was popping, so I don't know where all the smoke was going. I guess it was going to you.
They were like, Vicki, you said this was a good guy. And now he's talking about Martin Luther King and not wanting to wear church clothes and blah, 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 blah. I was putting out fires left and right. So I never told you about that, but I'm going to tell you about it now. I am your ride or die, really. Those pastors were, they really wanted to get an understanding. Tell me all about the church clothes mentality and your motivation with all that.
Yeah. Well, you know, so like a lot of people, some people know, but I didn't grow up in church, so I didn't know the rules and how the culture of church. I'm not churchy culturally. I believe in the church in terms of like the body of Christ, but the culture of church, like when you raise your hands and shouting and running and all that type of stuff, and the suits and the ties and the white. I didn't grow up in that. So for me, I was like, do I have to become that to love God? Because if so, I'm not going to be able to do it. And so I was like, man, so I would show up to Sunday services, you know, the same way that I found the Lord, with my do-rag on and my jeans and my t-shirt. And I was like, would y'all accept me like this? And sometimes I would face pushback. Sometimes people would say, hey, you got to take that hat off and you got to do it. And I was like, what is going on? So part of it was me saying, if God accepts me, y'all should accept me. And these are my church clothes. The clothes I got on I'm part of the church right now. So then I wrote that album, the first one, to let the church know I got my church clothes on. But then also on the mainstream side, I would go to the radio stations and they would be looking at me like an alien, like, where's the gospel rap dude? I was like, what are you talking about? I'm right here. Where's your choir robe at? And you know, and I was like, what in the world? I'm like, bro, you know, I'm from hip hop. Like, what are you?
Right.
I'm telling the culture, like, this is what it looks like to Jesus, like this, you know.
Right.
You're like Paul says, circumcision or uncircumcision don't mean nothing. So what you're wearing or not wearing shouldn't mean anything.
I mean, it tickles me, but I remember the setup I would have to give for you going places like GMWA. That was set up on both sides. I was trying to explain to you the culture of GMWA, and GMWA, I had to go and explain to them, but you were received very well and accepted. But it is funny, the different cultural things going on. But I think there's a line there too. Yeah. Because I know, especially it's so hard on females, you know. Because I mean, there was a woman, I wanted to talk to her so bad. She was a city girl.
Yeah.
She had shirt on down to everything was showing.
I agree. And for guys too, I think modesty is key. Like, be modest. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just to give me it can't be, in other words, if you did just come out of the club, I'm not mad at you.
Right.
But you can't keep coming that way. So I try not to be just judgmental. I'll tell you a situation, and I want to see how you dealt with it. We sat in front of an obvious, well, it was a man dressed up in women's clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And I struggled. I never thought I would, and I thought I was more open. But they were in church with their makeup and but the big old hands and stuff. It was obviously a man dressed as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about something like that?
Yeah, I think you gotta. So my thing is, who is this person, right? Because everyone is an individual, and so we can't have groupthink and just say, well, this is how we treat all people who are dressed like this. Who is this person, right? And I'm gonna talk to this person. I want to know who this person is. What's your story? Where you from? You know what I mean? Maybe we need to, somebody from the church, like, let's get some time together. Now, are you even a Christian, right? If you're not a Christian, and our rules are not applicable to you because you don't even follow the Lord. So there's that. If you are a Christian, okay, what is your style of dress trying to communicate? You know what I'm saying? Right. Because even if we look in the scriptures, for whatever reason, Paul had to have a talk with the men and the women in Corinth, I believe it was, and he was like, hey, the angels can't tell y'all apart. So the men and the women, the angels don't even know who's who, so something got to change. I'm not exactly sure what was happening in that time period that was hating that, but it was obviously an issue. So I do think that, man, God made us who we are individually. We're fearfully and wonderfully made, and we should enjoy being who we are and expressing ourselves in different ways, but at the same time, filtering that through the scriptures and saying, man, what does God say about this? And helping people, walking with people through that process. You know what I mean? Walking with them through this whole thing and helping them understand, like, this is who you are and who God says you are. And let's process this specifically individually.
That's true. But, and just to add to that, we have to trust that the word of God is going to do a work.
Yeah.
Me doing that work. And that if you on it, that word is going to work in you and begin to change you and bring you to the place to the image of Christ Jesus. And so a lot of times we try to rush ahead and not let God's word
beat up on people and they got church
that it needs to work in there. And so we need to trust that God's work is going to do, and that he's not going to fail us, and he's going to see us finish to the end. And so we have to trust him. We have to trust him to complete the work. And so the thing that, I think is very important, especially when you open the door, everybody's coming in.
Yeah, whosoever will, let them come. And then they come, and then you're mad.
Right.
And then you're mad. I don't know. It's crazy. But now on the world level, now I heard you guys, I haven't heard this yet, so you guys send it to me, or you got to tell me where I can find it. You're getting into Afro beats now and Latin, and Claude is Haitian. Did you know Claude was Haitian?
I say.
Yeah. Way.
Two bagaduce.
Yeah, he'll start talking to you. But and I know you've done so much philanthropy work, and we do want to talk about that. And we really appreciate the work that you've done in Haiti. But tell me about the music, how the music is evolving for you and all of that. What's going on?
We've always been kind of the outcast within like Christian music. People just didn't know what to do with us. Gospel didn't know what to do with us, and then you came along and really changed that for us. Contemporary Christian, they kind of mess with us, and then they kind of don't. And so we've always been an outcast. And so what we decided to do was, hip hop is the cousin of so many different genres of music. Let's link up with all the types of music the industry just won't touch, and that's world music, because our faith is a global faith. So why are we not making global? You know what I mean? And so
absolutely, that was something we wanted to do, that we didn't get to do, and so I'm glad you're getting to do it now, especially having a husband from another country. And you know, people, there's like churches all over. Like in Atlanta, you've got a lot of Haitian churches, Ethiopian, just everything you can think of. And even in the music, they do some of it in English and some of it in whatever their tongue is and stuff. And so it definitely is time for that. Japan, I mean, have you ever been to those countries, Japan and stuff yet? I mean, that'd be interesting.
Love traveling the world. That's my favorite thing to do is you know, really what I feel like, you know, someone spoke into my life recently and they said, Lecrae, music or your career, your occupation is really a uniform. It's not your identity. You may change uniforms. Today you're a musician, tomorrow you may be a speaker or whatever. But the role that God has given you is to be a translator. You're to translate truth.
Oh, I like that.
Community to another, and so I've used music to do that, but there's other avenues and other ways to be able to do that, and so we all have to be open to changing our uniforms, because that's all they are. You know, your career is not who you are. It's just a uniform you wear. That's not who God made you to be. Right. So when I travel the world, I'm trying to think of how can I translate, you know, what's important for my community to get from y'all, what's important for your community to get from us. Right. And that's something that I get excited about.
That's really cool.
Yeah. I mean,
that's really cool.
I think it's so important because the world has gotten so small.
Right. And music is a good entree.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes, you know, we look for what's the right entree. Music is really a good entree to reach out.
Yeah.
You don't even have to know the language, but you can feel that music and you say, oh, okay, I'm feeling it.
Big
so now, I remember when we used to go to your studio in Atlanta, you had these basketballs and footballs from people, and that, I don't know why that impressed me so much, but yeah, I don't know why, but I was impressed. Yeah. And I remember you had from that Asian guy that was a basketball player. What was his name? Eric, yeah, Lynn, yeah. And so that's something I've never forgotten. But like, where are you with sports right now? Because you see, like,
LA Rams.
I mean, LA Rams and 49ers are doing what they got to do.
Yeah. So I'm Cali at heart. I love California, so I'm rooting for California.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Well, you can't go wrong now. You got two of the good.
So, do you like the 49ers better than the Rams, or the other way
around? You're getting really messy.
Okay. I love LA, the city, but 49ers got that history. The Rams are still St. Louis in my brain. So I love LA. I rock with LA. Yeah. You know what's funny is I prayed about this. Like,
really?
Like just the way that I've been involved in sports. Because when I first started, you know, most of my athletic fans were baseball players, right? And it's probably because a lot of baseball players were fans of CCM, and I was doing a lot of collaborations with like Chris Tomlin and people like that. And so a lot of them were baseball players. And I was like, Lord, I respect baseball. I'm just not a big baseball fan. I love football and basketball. Lord, if you just open up a door for me to be able to speak lives of football and basketball players. And man, God basketball was dark. It was no spiritual influence in that place at all. And now see how much, you know, I've been able to infiltrate throughout the NBA, and it's been a beautiful thing.
Tell me some of your friends in basketball. Is that all right if we ask that are just because I'm a fan now? I'm doing my fangirl thing now.
I mean, you know, obviously Steph Curry has been a really good friend of mine for years. You know, most of the players on the Warriors, actually, from Draymond Green to, you know, play. Yeah, I've got out with them and go to the events and just celebrate with them. And so it's like been family. You know, I love them to death. You know, Trey Young, who's the star player of the Atlanta Hawks, is like a little brother to me, man. I'm always giving him advice, just speaking to his life. You know, Julius Randle, who plays for the New York Knicks.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, goodness gracious. It's so many, you know what I mean?
Man.
That's great.
But you're really influencing them. And one day I remember hearing Steph Curry's little girl, she was little at the time, do one of your songs. And I was just like, oh my gosh, we're reaching so many. You know, I'm not saying as me, but I'm just saying as a people and through you. And I just was like, oh gosh, I mean, just so really excited about it. And I mean, you're a tall, big man. Did you ever play basketball?
I played basketball, and that's why I love, you know, the sport, and I love, you know, football as well. I love the sport. You know, my coach told me when I was in high school, he said, I've coached some great players and some good players, and none of y'all are great, so don't expect to go to the NBA.
Oh, wow.
Okay, did he tell the truth?
Hey, when he said that, I gave up my hoop dreams. I was like, because he coached people who went to the NBA, so I was like, well, I guess that's it. I'm done. I'm out.
That is funny.
I know the difference.
Well, that's so funny. Well, I've also watched you evolve in fashion. I remember my daughter did one of your first stylist things back in the day, and
I mean,
Shabby. Yeah, she's taking a break from her parents right now. Lecrae.
I see, man. Where's my sister at, man? What's going on?
I know. But she's taking a break from us for a while, so I'm not mad at her for that. You know, she's got to do her individual thing. I know you guys would have gotten into a whole other type of conversation.
I would have just asked on a date with Jonathan McReynolds. Yeah, that's what I would have asked her.
I'm not saying a word.
Now you get messy.
Now you messy.
I like that.
We are.
Jonathan is a mess himself.
He's nice. Jonathan is very nice, and he's doing great. I like, Lord, please.
He admits it.
Well, I mean, that's what I like about him, is that, you know, people are very straight up. I don't know if you ever saw the interview we did with him, but that was our #1 interview. I mean, we talked about a lot of things. And I thought he was a little mad at me for a minute there, but inquiring minds know about his personal life. So that was fun. But
we got we got to talk about his philanthropy.
Yes.
In terms of what you're doing, and also the stuff that you've done with Louis Reed and supporting those that are incarcerated, and so some of the stuff you still in Atlanta primarily, I guess. And then you know, our church is doing one of our special focus of our church fast is homeless, and you've been doing some stuff with homeless folks as well too. So tell us about that.
I care about people on the margins. You know, people who don't have opportunities, and because that's really a lot of my story. That's my family. You know, I never really thought of incarcerated people as like incarcerated people. I thought about my uncle or my dad or my cousins, because that's what I've experienced growing up. And people who live on the street are experiencing homelessness. It's like I have family members like that. And so for me, it's always been seeing the person beyond the circumstance and how can you help that person. So I got really involved in working in prisons because those people get forgotten about, and I want them to be cared. I got really involved with people who are experiencing homelessness, and you know, we did a lot of stuff around Atlanta during COVID. We put the hand washing stations around the city for them. We did a lot of programs in the prisons for, you know, with masks and sanitary conditions and concerts, and you know, speaking to and helping some of the kids in there tell their stories. And some of that stuff is heartbreaking because it doesn't happen in a vacuum. You know, they got backstories.
Yeah.
You know?
That's right.
Yes.
When you hear those backstories, you're like, man, we got to do a better job in our communities of being leaders and you know, and doing some of those things. And so, and then of course, Peace Prep Academy is a school here in Atlanta that you know, I'm on the board of, and I got the pleasure of helping see from nothing, from 0 kids to now, you know, goes all the way up to 6th grade, and that's amazing. You know, we grade every year.
Yes.
In the worst community in Atlanta, you know, and so that type of stuff, to me, I got a real heart for that. You know, that's really where my heart is, and anywhere I'm at, I'm gonna be doing that. You know, so if I get to LA, I'm gonna be doing it.
There's a guy, I can't remember his name right now, but we interviewed him, and I think I want to put you together with him. He has this ministry where he's making reusable sanitary napkins for women, especially in other countries, who don't have them and can't afford to use this. They can't use disposable sanitary napkins. So he's making them reusable, and it's part of his ministry. And I think that would be good for you to meet him too, because it's something I never thought about.
Yeah, that is crazy.
In our clinic, it's very interesting. In the clinic in Haiti, we've been working on that. They told us that one of the key things is make sure you have a midwife, because female issues are a major service area that we need to provide
for homeless and those.
So when you talk about, you know, the sanitary napkins,
yeah, something like I never thought about.
That they don't have access to those, and so so this was a need that he came up and he got somebody to make them, and so he distributes them in Africa. But we're gonna get some to distribute at our clinic as well too.
Yeah, around the world. So we'll put you with him. That is so cool.
Yeah, solid.
But like I said, we're just almost running out of time. But I just want you to know really how much I love and respect you. Never had a chance to really tell you that, but I do, and how proud I am of you and what you're doing. And you know, if you ever need anything from us, let us know. And I don't want you to get weary in doing well, Lecrae.
I appreciate that.
You know, I really don't, because I know how it hit me, and they're getting ready to do a documentary on me, so I want you to come in and add a piece on that.
Got you. That's easy.
Yeah, but I got one more question, kind of a silly question, and I don't even know, kind of fun, but I've gotten into fragrances.
Yes.
I am, they are, bless me, I just smell different smells, and I don't know, just bless me. Are you doing fragrances? Is there a cologne or anything you're wearing now?
I mean, I wear a cologne, but I'm not planning on starting my own anytime soon. You know what I mean? I don't know what they would even call that, like, you know, anointed by Lecrae or something crazy like that.
Don't play. Don't play.
Hey, look,
that sounds good.
The names of these colognes are like names of horses, man. They will name them anything.
But we anointing. Ooh, Lecrae, don't play. Don't play. That's some good marketing right there.
Hey, baby. So,
what kind of cologne do you wear?
So I really love I love Burberry cologne. It smells amazing to me.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's probably my favorite right now. And then what's my other one? Oh my goodness, it's gonna kill me now because I really I stick with the same couple smells all the time, and
yeah.
Oh my gosh, why is it? It's a Givenchy. That's I'm a little bougie with it, but you know.
Yeah, but hey, why not? Why not? Bougie's good sometimes too. Well, I just wanted to say thank you so much. In about 6 or 7 months, we might call you again. I want everybody to support. Claude is trying to play my favorite song, which is the whistle song, my favorite new song. But what's the real name of that whistle?
One call.
Okay, the album's nice, but it's about that one call.
So we wanted to play that one as we.
Can you find as we move on? But first, is there anything else we need to know? What can we do to support you?
Man, I just appreciate y'all. You know, if y'all don't know, there's not a lot of people who have really done the things that you've done and been the influences that y'all have been. And so for me, even it means a lot. I feel like, your daughters are like my sisters, coming up in this industry. And so I'm just extremely grateful. It's definitely been like a family affair, and y'all have taught me so much. And so I'm extremely grateful, appreciative of y'all. Again, it's like family. So when I'm in LA, it's always good to get time,
Yeah, break bread and things.
Yeah, we love that. Let me see.
So, okay, are you ready to play that song?
Let's go.
Let's go. Oh, I love this song.
Yeah. Straight from overseas on the islands with the mist. Had to flood a finger, diamond sleeping with the fish. Thought I was playing, had to end it with no kizzy.
Yeah.
If I do it, might be busy. Making in the grass, you say SMS. Making all my brothers smelly, they no longer shooting Ricky. I see that a car and
That's what came you, people. Check them out.
For real. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all too, man.
Okay, God bless you.
Bye.
God bless. I'll see y'all.
All right.
All right.
Oh, hello.
Hello, what's up?
Thank you so much for watching Carfitable
Yes,
Talks.
thank you.
Please remember to press that like button, and we need you to subscribe. And also,
Leave some comments. Really need to hear from you.
thank you.